welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I'm out for a daily walk before I go back and carry on with my lounge refurb. I've started on the blocking up the walls. I've done the hatch from the kitchen to the dining room. I shall glue the doors back on temporary on the kitchen side just to make it look a bit pretty. I wonder how many times people will try to open the door. And then I've similarly blocked up the fireplace area. So I'm pretty happy with the block work I've done. I haven't recorded me doing it because it was so stressful, especially as you get to the top, trying to get mortar in and keep it in. Fingers were used, which I know is a no-no, but I use fingers at times. But anyway, I'm quite pleased with what I've got. I've actually tied the block work into the surrounding bricks on each layer. You can buy where you screw in and you put like a tie from Wicks that I found, just a few quid for 10, that basically you screw into them, and then obviously that makes the wall a lot more stable. So that's ready to go. That's about 8 to 10 mil. So the plan is to, from what I can see, is I'm going to use thistle hardwall mix first, and that will bring that level to this. I'll then put scrim tape around it, and then I'm going to put a top coat and feather it out. How good that will work, I don't know. But we'll see. That's the plan. Just realised my top blends with the wall. So I'll show you the reality of how a very average DIYer puts into practice all the videos that he's watched. Failing that, I'll have to just get a plaster out and pick it all back out again. I'm actually a bit behind, to be perfectly honest, because I was supposed to plaster yesterday. So Jane's over in Amsterdam, she comes back. I want to try and get all the dirty work out of the way so she's not walking back into dust. But this has not been pretty, which is the fireplace. I'll just swing the camera around, you'll see. This is a right mess, this is. So I initially just blocked up, again, did the block work into the fireplace. And then I noticed that the plaster was either blown or it was bulging, and we wanted to try and make it as flush as possible. So I started to cut back, and as you can see, I actually was going to go further out. I'm going to have to fill that back in and stopped, to be honest. The wall was in a right mess. I think you can see there was an original chimney going up here by the looks of it. And then at some stage, I think they must have had a gas fire, because the biggest problem I had was there was a metal like lintel here, really thick metal, but it was proud of being flush, so I needed to get rid of that. And I didn't want to start knocking the blockwork apart because I could just see this lot coming down on me, and I didn't want to make it worse. So I had to use an angle grinder to grind the metal off. So we had sparks everywhere, and I was making sure I didn't catch fire to the house, etc. So that was interesting yesterday. So it's not a very pretty job. It's nothing to be proud of, but it's done. So I'm going to probably put a base coat plaster on that, although this needs to go off. There's an air brick there to vent into the chimney, but I think you will agree that's a pretty messy job I've made of that lot. So I think the reality is that it'll be better than it was, but it's I'm not very happy about it, to be honest. So I've bought all the gear. So instead of paying a plaster, I'm going to do it myself, because if I can do this, then I can do patchwork around the house whenever I need to. So I've got a hawk, I've got a finishing trowel, and I've got this straight edge that it's called something, I can't remember what it's called now, but that will give me a straight edge when I'm trying to make sure that the plaster's not bulging. I'm liking this straight edge, I have to say. That was way too stressful. I got the mix way too wet, that didn't help me. Then I've probably overworked it. I've got to just make sure that it's not above where I want it to be. Which I don't think it is, so I think I need to let it go off a bit, and then just before it goes off is just work the top of it a bit. But it is only the undercoat, so I'm hoping it's all right. Whatever you do, don't see this as an instructional video. Don't follow me. I'm just showing you the end result of following instructional videos. So this wall is not beyond the surface level, which is key for me. But the plaster was way too wet and it was difficult to manage. So I don't want to mess around with it too much, and it's the only under the undercoat. So I've scored it. I'll wait for it to dry overnight, then I'll brush it, and then I believe I've got to put scrim tape round from what videos I've seen, which obviously puts a bit of a thickness to it. Obviously you then taper it out, so we'll see. I've yet to be 100% convinced. This one was a bit of a disaster, to be perfectly honest. There was a lot of thickness there to make up, and I've gone through three-quarters of a 25 kilogram bag, and I've still got probably 6 mil average overall, some places a bit thicker, so I really struggled with this. So I decided to just purely get an undercoat on with the amount that I'd mixed up as I can, and then I'll put a second coat on, which apparently you can put 2 coats on, but obviously the next coat has got to be thick enough to cover it all. So I've just got to get the mix right. It was probably too stiff because it went off very quickly and I was struggling to move it. So I've just got to get that balance right when I put the second coat on, I think. I'll be honest with you, I almost got to the point of just calling a plasterer and, you know, putting it in the queue to get done, and I might still end up there if the finish is bad. I do know, however, that no matter what, I can always easy fill it and sand down. Now that'll be a lot of work and a lot of mess, but I know I can do that. So we got the second coat on. That went on a bit better. I'm still not convinced. I'm not going to have to do quite a bit of filling. I think it's level to the surface, but it's not smooth, so it doesn't bode well for me getting a smooth finish on the top coat. So that's the first top coat. So that's a lot better than it was. It's still got a lot of imperfections, but it's the first top coat on. Just let that go off a bit. Just as that starts to harden, I'll put a second coat on, and then I'm going to sponge float it and then trowel to harden it out, I think. Seems to be a video I've been watching. But I'm still getting these marks here I've got to do something with on the second one. This is where it's coming up to the paint, so I still think I'll end up having to film. Well, it's the end of the day. I've had a shower because I've been chewing plaster dust all day. I'm so disappointed. I put the 2 top coats on, and whilst the hatchway is okay, it's not good enough, and the chimney breast's even worse. So I'm afraid plasterings needs a bit more practice. I think I need to keep trying with it, but the lounge is now done. I'm going to have to fill it, I think. Fill it and rub it down using, I think, what they call agrofill, which is like a more of a big, large area filling paste or powder. So I've got no choice really. But it's been so hard. Just trying to get a smooth finish and working the plaster, and I suppose also for the first time using the tools, it's pretty difficult. Or I'm pretty crap, it's one or the other, probably the latter. I did wonder about jumping in.